Happy Wednesday, Tim. If it's Wednesday, it must be.
Time for If These Walls Could Talk.
Yay, with Wendy, Stuart, and
Tim Moss.
Yay. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, you know, what we look to bring you is happiness, light, laughter, and amazing guests. But first, yes, I have to tell you all something very important. Tim, do you know what Friday is?
What Friday is?
Yes, Friday is my
day after
birthday.
Tomorrow. I have no clue.
It's my birthday. My birthday.
Oh yes, national holiday.
It is. It is right. January 15th, Martin Luther King and Wendy Stuart Kaplan. It's my birthday, and I am very excited to be here. And to everybody out there, I celebrate my birthday an entire month. So Friday night, you can find me outside because we're all outside eating these days, outside of Pangea at 6 o'clock. And anybody who wants to stop by and have a drink with me and say hi-ho, I will totally be there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm telling you, last year at Wendy threw a huge birthday celebration.
January 24th, the extravaganza produced with Nick Lyon. Yeah, it was amazing.
That was amazing. The amount of artists and entertainers and people just all from all around the metropolitan area showed up and performed. It was amazing. It was incredible.
Thank you, Tim. And Tim was, of course, one of our performers. He performed in the first part of the show, Reading for Filth. You did a wonderful piece on stage there because we kicked off the party with a series of readings from well-known entertainers and writers, people from all walks of life. And then we moved into 2 shows, which was insane. How fun was that? And
it was great.
It was great. It was at Club Bedlam, and we just had the best time. So everybody stay tuned, because once we're past all of this pandemic, Nick Lyon and I are producing another show. We've already started talking about it. So sit tight, you'll all be hearing about it. Oh, and look what Albert C. Penna, these are a holiday gift, but you know what?
Fabulous.
How fabulous. But I want to show everybody my beautiful lapis bracelets from Nick Lyon that match my dress.
We have the most incredible guest today. He's just remarkable. He's been in the business for decades, and he has a couple books that we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about a lot of his guests as well.
Oh, yeah.
So please welcome to the show the fabulous and wonderful Mickey Burns.
Yay!
Yay!
Tim, Wendy, happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much, Mickey. We're first of all so grateful to have you here today. You are besides having 20 years of experience of hosting, and I mean, you have interviewed everybody and anybody, but one thing I really want to say that you are known for, that your interviews are very intimate. They're very one-on-one. And you really do everything to bring out who the person is and absolutely lift them up. So kudos to you for that, and thank you.
I appreciate that. I think that occurred from my early roots. I was hosting a show on Staten Island for Time Warner, and it was called Staten Island Live. And I had an hour, like Larry King Live, an hour live on the air. And in one episode, the last 15-minute segment was a detective who was trying to help a youth that were getting into trouble. And I had 15 minutes with him. And every question I asked him, the answer was yes, no. And after about 7 minutes, I was out of questions. And the director kept going like this. And I said, oh, my God, talk about going down for the 3rd time. It's great. I had 7 minutes on live television with no questions. So I said, yeah, that'll never happen again. So I always go into interviews over-prepared. Never under-prepared.
You know, right.
Yes, we learn as we go along. That is for sure.
Too. That's the way to do it.
Well, now you're an East Coaster also. You're in Staten Island, right?
Well, I live in Staten Island. I have studios and editing facilities here, but we produce the show from Times Square.
Okay.
Cool.
Which is like a short take the ferry, Staten Island ferry over,
Yeah.
and you're 10 minutes from Times Square.
Yeah, catch the #1 train. Boom.
Yeah,
And you're good to go. And you know what I love? I love that I'm a borough girl. I'm from the Bronx originally.
Yeah,
so I love, Soho Johnny's also from Staten Island, right?
I think the Bronx.
The Bronx. No, right. He's from the Bronx. That's absolutely true. But
yes.
Tim, this is like when you have a guest that's from, a town like Tim is from Indiana.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We always love when we can connect with people like from where our roots are, and we honor our roots.
You mentioned Indiana. I went to college in the Midwest, in Missouri.
Okay.
I went to Missouri Valley College.
Uh-huh.
And I spent 5 years out there and loved it very much.
You loved it.
Yeah. Where was that? St. Louis?
It's in Marshall, Missouri.
Where the heck is that?
80 miles east of Kansas City.
Ah.
Okay.
It's really nice there. It's a town of about 16,000.
Yeah.
It's a college town. And then I went to Graduate School Central Missouri State in Warrensburg, Missouri, which is 50 miles from Kansas City.
Uh-huh.
And then I came back to New York City with
that's what happens to us,
2 degrees.
Listen, I went to school in Binghamton, and then I went to school in Nigeria. But at the end of the day, I can't get off the island of Manhattan. I want to talk about your first book.
Yeah.
From the projects to profiles. And
that's
thank you for holding it up. And then it says, My Unlikely Journey to Success. And that's what I hooked onto. I want to talk about that.
Sure.
Likely journey to success.
It was unlikely because even though I went to college to do what I'm doing today, when I graduated from college, it was BC, which is before cable. And you had like 4 or 5 channels. That was it.
I love it.
So I realized, in order to start out in broadcast, I'd probably have to go to Boise, Idaho. And then if I was really good, maybe I'd make Des Moines, Iowa. And it's a progression to get back here. New York is the mecca of broadcasting. You don't start out here, you end up here.
Yeah.
So I decided to go a different route, and I came back to New York City, and I started to teach high school and coach football and basketball in high school. And I did that for a number of years until an opportunity, and then I worked at Fox Television.
Sure.
Because the guys I played golf with all worked there.
Oh, that's funny.
And they said, Mickey, we're going to get you in up here as a sound man. And this was like 25 years ago. And so I did. I started out as a sound man for the 10 o'clock news. But I really wanted to be in front of the camera since I was in college. Rupert Murdoch took over.
Right.
The first thing Rupert Murdoch did when went from Metro Media to Fox.
Right.
And the first thing he did was cut out all the overtime. So the guys who were working at the Fox, they said, we got to do something to moonlight on the side to make up for the money we're losing in overtime. So we put together a little team of Fox guys, and we got a contract moonlighting with Time Warner to produce a news magazine.
Oh, I love that.
Very good.
And I ended up being the host of the news. That was my first on-air opportunity. And I was the host. I hosted the show, and I also did feature stories within it. And I did that until Rupert gave back the overtime, and all my guys went back to Fox, and I was kind of left holding the bag. So I stayed working for Time Warner. And after that news magazine, they hired me to host Staten Island Live, which was Larry Greenwald. I did that for a couple of years. So that was how I started.
So it was kind of very organic how that happened, how it unfolded.
It really was, and when I was doing the news magazine, it was called Special Edition.
Uh-huh.
And one segment in every episode was a celebrity profile. So I used to run, it was a half-hour show, but I would run up to Manhattan and try to get sound bites with people on Broadway and kind of make a celebrity profile. I did Tony Orlando, Gladys Knight, as they were appearing on Broadway. And I used to run back to the studio here and say, guys, I have a half-hour interview with Tony Orlando, but we can only use 4 minutes of it. I said, what a waste. We should do a long-form
interview.
You know? because they want to talk about their lives and careers, but they only have 4 minutes to do so. They would love to sit down for 25 minutes, So that's how I got the idea to do profiles, and that was 21 years, 20 years.
Love it.
And I had no trouble getting guests. My first guests were people like Isaac Hayes.
My God.
Chuck Mangione.
I love Chuck Mangione.
Darlene Love. Danny Aiello.
Wow.
These were all people I started with. And we started doing it just on Staten Island. We have a music hall here on the grounds of Snug Harbor. So
you used a music hall on Snug Harbor.
Yes.
So you brought, in those days, right, celebrities came on. It wasn't live stream. You were able to get people to come there.
Well, the reason we get able to get them to come was I had a limousine company that I knew for 25 years, and they were willing to transport the celebrities here by lift.
Genius.
Perfect.
And we did that. And I did maybe 20 episodes from here, and all major celebrities. And then at that time, Mayor Bloomberg created NYC Media, which is the official network in New York City.
Right.
So I sent in the tapes of my 20 shows that I had done here, and they loved it. And when they premiered in 2003, Profiles was one of the first shows that they acquired.
Wow.
How totally cool, right?
20 years and 500 episodes later.
Wow. Now, I know somebody that you interviewed was Frank Vincent. Was he a personal friend of yours? I have a reason for asking.
No, he wasn't. I basically Frank through his book publisher. He had a book out at the time.
So Frank was, when I first started in this business, there was a guy named Frank Vincent who was trying, he was pitching agents and stuff. Yeah. So Frank Vincent hired me. I was non-union at the time. He was making like a pitch video for agents. Right. And he had me and my girlfriend. The scene was, she catches me in bed with him. He played a cop. And this is really before he all started getting those roles. So, when you're green and brand new in New York, even though I had grown up in the Bronx, I was still new in this industry. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if this is legit or anything. I showed up, and of course it was totally legit. And Frank became, of course, a friend after that, and someone that I consider very pivotal. He gave me a break, and we all remember people that gave us our first break.
Well, a lot of people don't know that Frank Vincent really got his start as a musician.
I didn't know that.
Well, he and Joe Pesci, they had a three-piece band called the Aristocats, and they played the Jersey Shore. Joe Pesci was a great guitar player. A lot of people don't know that.
I never knew that.
Frank Vincent was a drummer, and he said they were doing really great down in Jersey Shore. Then he got a letter from Disney, a cease and desist letter from Disney to stop using the name.
Really?
I'm a three-piece band on the Jersey Shore.
I love it.
The name of the band. But while he was playing, somebody approached him originally, him and Joe, and said they were doing some independent film, and asked them if he liked their look, if they would like to be part of it. And that whatever that movie was, Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro saw it and approached them to be in all the Raging Bull and Casino.
Oh my God. Wow. Those stories to me are everything. So we've all had good experiences and we've all had bad experiences that really made us stronger, better, and push harder.
Most of my experiences in this business have been positive.
Of course.
And I would have a hard time recollecting ones that weren't. What I did learn is that every interview isn't always going to go the way you want it to.
True.
Sometimes you have a certain case that you like to conduct, and the person you're interviewing is not buying into that case. One example I can share with you.
Yes.
I had Ben Vereen on 15 years ago.
I loved Ben Vereen.
And well, he's a legend on Broadway.
Absolutely.
And what talent, you know. So I basically started the interview off saying, like you guys did with me, you know, today our guest is Ben Vereen, Broadway legend. Ben, how are you these? How's everything going? Well, Ben went off on a tangent for 20 minutes. He would not let me get back in for a second question.
Oh.
So we taped the show. It's not live like this one. So I stopped, you know, the taping, and I said, Ben, you know, do me a favor. I have 15, 20 questions to ask you. 30-minute show. We just used up 20 minutes. Could you shorten your answers a little bit? Oh, Mickey, sure, no problem. I asked him the second question. He went off for another 20 minutes. Now, I mean, the eventual time of the interview had to be like an hour and a half, and they had to edit that down to like 30 minutes, you know? So that's what I remember distinctly.
But you know what? Okay, case in point, that kind of thing can happen. And when, you know, when the person has such incredible stuff to share,
yes,
you kind of don't even have a choice except to get on that roller coaster with them and ride it, right?
Yes. And one quick story, Tim and Wendy, I want to share this with you. I was interviewing Joe Montana, the NFL quarterback, 4 Super Bowl rings, in his hotel suite in New Jersey. He was there for a memorabilia conference when he retired. So they said, Mickey, come over with your crew at 4:30, set up your lights, sound, all of that, and Joe will be there at 5:30. So we got the beautiful suite. And it was a beautiful spread of cold cuts, ham, turkey, Swiss cheese, macaroni salad. I said, man, this is a classy operation. So my crew and I had about 5 or 6 of us. After we set everything up, we ate, and then at 5:30 sharp, Joe Montana shows up. And the first thing I see, he walks in with his PR guy and his manager. I see them pointing to me, Mick, come here. They want to talk to me in the corner. I said, oh my God, you know, right off the bat, something's wrong, you know. And the manager looked me straight in the eye and he said, Mickey, who ate Joe's dinner? So evidently that food wasn't for us, that was for Joe.
That's hilarious.
Talk about your hand in the cookie jar. The moral to the story is never assume anything, right?
Right.
Yes.
When I said, I don't even remember the interview, to tell you the truth. What I remember doing is starting off the interview, apologizing to Joe by saying, Joe, I'm sorry we ate your dinner. And he said, Mickey, forget. He said, I would never eat that stuff. I'm going out to a nice Italian restaurant. So afterwards. So that was, I never forget that one.
That's a good one. Well, I have to tell you that this is one interview that I will probably be remembering for a very long time. You're watching If These Walls Could Talk with Tim Voss and Wendy Stuart. And our guest is television host and author Mickey Burns. You are the television host of Profiles, and you have 2 books out, which is From Projects to, I can't read my, to Profile. Projects to Profile. And Inside Celebrity Profiles is your newest book. Yes. Now that sounds so incredible. Tell us about Inside Celebrity Profiles.
Yeah, well, that's this one here.
Yep.
And it's a coffee table book. And when the pandemic started, at one of our last interviews before we took a little break, I said I've had the same photographer on the set for 20 years.
Wow.
His name is Robert Brunfeld. And I said, Robert, this was like in March. I said, Robert, do you have any idea how many photos you've taken in and around the set of Profiles for the past 20 years? He said, that's a good question. I have no idea, but I'll go home and look in the computer, call you tonight with a number. He called me that night. He said, Mickey, I have 14,562 photos. 14,562 photos.
Wow.
So I immediately called our publisher who published the first book, New Haven Publishing. So what we started to do during the summertime, we went over all our pictures, and then we have to figure how we're going to present it. So we presented it in sections: the singers, the actors, the comedians, right? The athletes. And, you know, again, I was limited to 120 pages because it's very expensive with all these color photos to do. So I left out, 3/4 of the people that I've interviewed.
My goodness.
I was able to do 120 pages of some of the most memorable.
But isn't a project like that amazing when you just kind of stop and just get an overview of all you have done and all the people that you have interviewed over the years?
Sure.
Again.
When I was putting the book together, I realized how fortunate I've been, because not only have I had the opportunity to interview so many of these legends,
right,
many of them have become good friends, which I love
that. Right.
I never anticipated that. One in particular, Tommy James, the singer, has become a good friend. Moni, I think we're alone now.
Moni.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tony Orlando.
Oh, love.
I mean, I've had him on twice, but I text him for his birthday. He texts me for mine. I mean, we become good friends. He's got a radio show now in New York, and I'm helping him with it, promoting it as best I can. But when I was doing this book, I'll give you an example of what kind of guy Tony Orlando is and the friendship that we developed. I sent Tony a text, right? I got him on speed dial now. And I said, Tony, I'm writing a book. Would you be so kind to give me a blurb I can put on the cover? For both books, within 10 minutes, the blurb was in my inbox.
Wow. That is, you can't ask more than that.
Now, many of the celebrities that you have to wait 3 weeks to get a response.
Yeah,
of course.
Right.
But they're not good friends. I consider Tony a friend now, So, stuff like that is priceless.
I love this. So basically your second book, which is a coffee table book with amazing photographs, it is an overview of a portion of the people that you've interviewed. So with that being said, I was wondering, you do live, you've got the best of profiles. You have different shows that you have categorized in the same way.
Yes.
What did you decide to do that in terms of your own shows?
Well, the reason we did it, I think I did like 2 seasons of the best of profiles.
Got it.
And we also categorized those.
Yes.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, TV legends, famous comedians. The reason we did that is because when you do 500 episodes over 20 years, you have so many memorable moments that if you add them, they sit on the shelf.
Totally.
This was a way to make them evergreen to a point. And what we did was in each episode, we did like 3 Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, 3 TV legends. And we were able to bring back these older interviews, the highlights of it,
right,
and condense them into the best of episodes. And they were really popular. People love that.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to read off some of the names of some of the people that we've got here.
Do you want me to comment on them?
Oh, if you'd like, yeah.
That would be great.
Well, why don't we do like a lightning round if the internet allows?
Okay, lightning round.
Go. 2-word answer.
Mayim Blalock. She was Blossom.
Very, very intelligent. People don't know that she's like a neuroscientist and with a PhD. I can't even pronounce what her degree is in, but she's extraordinarily intelligent.
And amazing. Smokey Robinson.
Well, Smokey Robinson is one of the leading singer-songwriters of our time. He's written over 400 songs. Very quickly, I asked him, of all the people that have sung your songs, he's written 400 of them. So I asked Smokey Robinson, who was the favorite singer that recorded one of your songs? He said, without a doubt, it was Marvin Gaye.
Wow.
He said, Marvin Gaye used to take my songs and Marvinize them.
Yeah.
Meaning he took them to the next level. So that was it.
Amazing. Those are 2 legendary minds working together.
Okay, I have one I wanted to ask.
Dr. Maya Angelou.
Chubby Checker. Angry,
Oh no!
Who? Wait,
Oh,
Chubby Checker?
Chubby Checker. Oh,
Uh-huh.
you're first in my bubble here today, Mickey.
Wasn't, very nice guy, married a Miss World. So how could you not be happy, right? But he is angry. Doesn't feel he got the attention
He did right.
over the years that he should have gotten, and more importantly, feels that they're keeping him out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a place
Wow.
he believes he deserves to be in. So a Chubby Checker, nice guy, but at this stage of his life, a little bit angry that he didn't get the acknowledgement at this stage that he thinks he deserves.
Right.
Wow.
Dr. Maya Angelou. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
One of the biggest thrills of my 500 episodes was
I would imagine.
Isn't that great?
Uh-huh.
and I went into that interview saying, "You ever see Wayne's World, the movie?
Oh, of course.
I'm not worthy."
Yes, right.
Well, that's how I went into that interview. I said, I'm way over my head here with Dr. Maya Angelou. She's the greatest American poet, several degrees, college. She's so intelligent but you know what? I went in very prepared for the interview, and she was very kind. She never made me feel like I was over my head, which I knew I was. And I ended up with a great interview with her.
Uh-huh.
I think she was kind enough to let me survive the interview because I was so prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Being prepared is a key to most interviews.
Right.
Yes.
But what a thrill. And I love the way the interview turned out, way beyond my expectations.
Well,
But
honestly,
you just brought up a really good point with someone like Maya Angelou, and you said it. You were honest. You knew you were in over your head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Believe me, I feel that way sometimes more than I care to count. But the prep is so important because you know what? Once you put it up here, and you know this better than anyone, then it just regurgitates when you're interviewing people.
yeah. And I had a feeling she liked me a little bit.
Right?
Kind of Strobin.
Joan Rivers.
Again, people don't realize how smart she was.
Uh-huh. Right.
I think she graduated top of her class. She had a degree in anthropology.
Me too.
And Wendy, why did you have a degree in anthropology?
Oh, because it was one of the most useful things I could think of.
Yeah, but Jones, she was also a award-winning television host.
Yes.
So it was great, a great interviewing somebody with such experience in doing what I do. But she said something interesting. I'll never forget it. She said, all the people that I started out with in comedy, if they stuck with it and they were able to handle the rejection, all made it in some niche, some form.
She's very, very quick, right? Very quick. And it's her cadence, right? We were talking before about pacing, right? When you interview people. So with her quickness, was that intimidating in any way?
No, I liked it.
You liked it?
I was able to feed off of it.
Fabulous, right?
I'm a little quick myself.
You are more than welcome.
Yeah, because I asked her at one point, I wanted to talk to her about her plastic surgery. But in every interview, there's always something that you're not sure you should ask.
Right.
And you're not sure when you should ask it. Right?
Uh-huh.
If you ask it too soon, it could set the tone
for the rest of the interview.
Right. But yet you need to ask it because people want to know about it, right? So I asked Joan about her plastic surgery. And I said, Joan, I read that you had your eyes done, your nose done. And then she stopped me there and she went down the whole list of plastic surgery. She was very honest about it.
Wait, is this show archived? I want to say.
Oh, yeah. I think you could probably get it on YouTube. But,
okay, great.
But then I said to her, how much money do you think you spent over the course of your life on plastic surgery?
Wow.
And she said, about 100,000. And I'm quick too. And I get right back to it and I said, 100,000 this year.
Yeah, right.
Not 100,000 over your life.
You can't get all that stuff done for 100,000.
She had no idea. Because money's no object to her.
Of course.
She don't care how much it costs. She just gets it done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, one last one, Dick Cavett.
Well, Dick Cavett, he set the standard intelligent conversation on television.
Right.
Something you don't see a lot of. Right? I'm going to try to think who else. Maybe Tom Snyder was pretty close.
Yeah.
You know, who can you think of anybody else? So I can't, you know.
Only newscasters, not totally right.
You know, even David Letterman, you know, even when he got serious, it was for 2 minutes.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't go on for half hour or an hour with a conversation. So having Dick was a big thrill because he's sitting there and he knows that I idolize him. You know, and I told him that before the interview, and but he gave me a fabulous. I think it was our 100th episode, and you know, I asked him. I said, Dick Cavett. I said, you know, you came from Nebraska. Johnny Carson came from Nebraska. He said, you had to become a television host. I said, no, I'm from Staten Island. You know, but he said that he first met Johnny Carson doing a show in Nebraska in a church basement.
A church basement. Those are great stories. I love that.
Yeah.
So Mickey, I'm curious, okay? And I know we're down to the wire time-wise here, but I have to know this.
Yeah.
I love finding out about people's roots and how they got to where they were, especially, you know, when you're from a small town or you're from a borough, right? You weren't born into a stardom. You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. No. What was the leap from Staten Island? Did you have incredibly encouraging parents growing up? What was your story?
Well, I grew up in what's called the South Beach housing projects on Staten Island.
So you grew up in the projects?
Yeah, my father came back from World War II.
Yep.
He got married. They had a family. No money. Nobody had any money, and he got a job as a city bus driver. But, you know, growing up in the projects for me was a mecca because there was 100 kids that you could go outside and play with any day, every day. You know, but I realized economically you were in the lower tier, obviously, right? So I realized when I was a kid, I got to figure a way out of here, you know, to get to the next level. And I realized right from the start that if I was going to do that, athletics was my ticket out.
That was your ticket. That's a really important message.
So I used to say to my mother, Mom, when I was going to high school, what do you think about me going to college? And she'd say, oh, I'd love you to, but you're going to have to get a scholarship. And those days, scholarships were not like today. You know, they were rare, kind of.
They were hard.
So I ended up excelling in football and baseball and worked extremely hard because I knew it was my ticket out. And I ended up getting a football scholarship to Missouri Valley College.
Wow.
Changed my life. I was the first person in my family to attend college.
Love it.
And then there I went to graduate school and got my master's.
Right.
And then I spoke at my alma mater's 2020 graduation, and they bestowed an honorary doctorate.
Nice.
Right. That's so amazing.
So on all my credit cards, I have Dr. Burns.
I love
it. And what good is it? It gets me a better seat on the plane.
Yeah.
Better seat in restaurants when they're open.
Can't you put something in the windshield of your car?
That's wonderful. Well, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk.
They think you can do the Heimlich maneuver, so they give you a better
So fun.
Well, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with Wendy, Stuart, and Tim Moss. And our incredible guest is Mickey Burns, television host of Profiles and also the author of From Projects to Profiles and Inside Celebrity Profiles.
That's it.
And we thank you so very much for joining us and for being so patient and understanding through all of the technical difficulties that I've experienced.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you, Tim and Wendy. You're always beautiful and great. I appreciate all the great work.
Thank you so much, Mickey. One last thing. Where can people get your books?
Exactly.
BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. All you have to do is put in Mickey Burns and both BURNS and both books will pop up.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Mickey Burns.
Success to both of you.
Thank you, Mickey. Have a great one.
This was wonderful. I absolutely adore you. Thank you very much, Mickey Burns.
Been my own.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you. From Choppy Tim Moss and Wendy Stuart, we say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Where's Johnny? Johnny.